Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk, week 1 of the NFL, and I am joined once again by Steve, aka Miller Time, and as I promised, we would have a special guest, and it is none other than Deb Lutz, aka Deluxe. Deb and Steve, how are you guys doing today?
I'm great, and I'm happy to see my my fellow Arizona buddy there.
Yeah,
great to see you, Deb.
Yep. For everybody that doesn't
so
know,
stoked for NFL to be starting up again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm like chomping at the bit today.
Yeah. And for anyone that doesn't know, yeah, Deb and Steve are friends, and they live in the same. You guys live in the same city, right? Or you live in the same?
Opposite ends, pretty much.
Yeah, we're about 15 minutes away.
Yeah. So. Yep, great to kick off this season. There's a lot of new players and new places. There's a lot of uncertainty, so it's going to be a fun season. I know as a Packers fan, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. There's definitely a lot of uncertainty and a lot of just excitement in the air, really, just about what could happen. So it's a different type of a year for Packers fans for sure. I guess Arizona fans, I know it's be a rebuild, but what are you guys feeling about their chances this year?
Coming in last?
Most likely, it's going to be last.
Pretty good.
I'm trying to play the defenses that play the Cardinals this year.
So, exactly. Yeah.
You got the Commanders this week, Giants next week. Try to keep those guys on your fantasy team. Try to play a little game of chess and set it up.
Are they going with Clayton Tune? Is that the latest?
No, they're going with Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he's someone that they've been talking about as far as potentially kind of taking over. But I see Dobbs going for a little bit, which I think is better than Colt McCoy, honestly.
Yeah.
But what I mean, I can go all day about the Cardinals, so we don't have to go.
So yeah, if you're new to the channel, if you would give us a like and then hit the subscribe button. After you've done those two things, if you would hit the alarm bell, that will let you know when the newest podcast has gone live. If you're new to DFS Coach Talk, it's a perfect time to join us. We have our NFL kickoff special, so we'll go ahead and make that announcement right now. For what that's going to be is it's going to be for the entire NFL season, the first 5 months of the NBA season, and the rest of Major League Baseball and the playoffs and any other sports that we provide all the way up until the Super Bowl. You're going to get all of that for just $44.99. So it's less than half of what the yearly membership costs. So you can join us on DFS Coach. You can send us a DM on Twitter, or you can email me at jpdavis1982@gmail.com, and we'll be glad to have you join us. We have daily lineups that we give out for like Major League Baseball. And of course, when NBA starts, we give a DraftKings core and a Fanduel and Yahoo full lineups. For NFL, we will give out on the showdown slates, we'll give out the DraftKings core, the Fanduel, and the Yahoo lineup. And then on Sundays, the DraftKings core, Fanduel, and Yahoo lineup. And then on the Sunday night and Monday night games as well. So a lot of NFL content. Very excited to kick off this season for sure. So let's go ahead and start it out with what they call the most important position, and that is the quarterback. So who do you guys like as your top quarterback? We'll start with you, Steve, and then we'll just kind of rotate from here.
This week, I like Justin Herbert. They're playing at home. They're playing the Dolphins. I think it's going to be the most high-scoring game of the week, and it's going to be fun to watch. Hopefully, some of those receivers get in for the Chargers, some of their rookies, but I really like that game. That's going to be the most exciting game of the week, and I want Justin Herbert.
Okay. What about you, Deb?
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty low-scoring games this weekend, and I was looking back at last year. Same thing, week 1. I think the offenses need a little bit of time to get in rhythm, so I'm actually looking at some bets hitting the unders on some of these, even though they're low. But I also a big fan this week of Herbert, but I also like Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a great season. I think he's every year he's getting a little better, but he's still kind of underwhelming a little bit. I think this is the year they put it all together. He's got, Kirk's coming back. He's got Zay Jones coming back. Evan Ingram found a home in Jacksonville. And this year he's got Calvin Ridley, who arguably was one of the top 5 receivers before he got injured and then went on suspension. So I think that they're really hitting the ground running. And they've got Etienne as well. So I'm a big fan this week of Lawrence, particularly against the Indy defense.
Okay. Yeah, we all have somebody different. So I had Lamar Jackson. He's at home against the Texans, which, they're one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. They allowed the 6th most points per game at 24.7. They are in the middle of a rebuild. They're going to be with a new head coach, DeMeco Ryans. So I think they are kind of trending in the right way. I do like DeMeco Ryans. I think he's going to be a really good coach. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time. Lamar should be probably one of the more popular and safe, if you will, options tomorrow. But I do like him in like the cash and single entry type contest. So next we will go to the middle or value tier for quarterbacks. So who do you like in that tier, Deb?
So I actually have 2 picks in this tier because I'm looking at it a little differently, cash games versus GPP. From a cash standpoint, I like Derek Carr. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, the way he was treated by Vegas. He's got something to prove. He's got one of the best young receivers in Olave. And you can't rule out Michael Thomas, who, again, sort of under the radar because he hasn't played much the past couple of seasons, but very, very reliable wide receiver. So I think Carr could be airing it out a bit and have a really good game. And then that's for cash game for GPP. I like Ritter a lot. I think with all the talk about the rookie quarterbacks, this is a guy 2nd year, was solid at the end of last season, played the last 5-6 games or so, nothing spectacular. But I think he's got a good thing going with Drake London. He's got Kyle Pitts back healthy. And I actually think that Ritter could be a really nice sort of low-owned value play against pretty weak defense of Carolina today.
Did you take him in your fantasy draft? I'm just curious after you said that.
I bowed out of a fantasy draft this year. I decided, I know. I decided I had too many other things going on. So I didn't do season-long fantasy. But I would have taken him as my backup. I would have taken him as my backup.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Yep. What about you, Steve? Who do you like in the middle or the value tier?
Value tier, I like Geno Smith. They're playing at home. They're playing the Rams. I don't know. The Rams do not look very good at all.
Right.
I actually, I would stretch and almost put him in that next tier just based on the matchup. But I like Geno Smith as a value pick. I really love Derek Carr as well, Deb. So I think that's a great one, especially on, Kamara being out. They're going to throw the ball a lot. They look great in the preseason. They were awesome. As like GPP, I like Sam Howell again because they're going against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are just, I don't know, they don't look very good, and I think they're going to try to tank it. And Washington looked good in the preseason. It looks like he's on point with Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson and new offense coordinator. I think Antonio Gibson's in play this week as well. But just because he's turning more into like throwing more balls to the running back. But, I like Sam Howell a lot in GPP.
And it was you and Deb both that were really high on Geno Smith last year when not a lot of people were. I remember that. Was it both of you guys, or was it just you, Steve, or do you guys remember?
Yeah, I got I followed Geno Smith a lot because he ended up being my quarterback because I drafted last year, right? And that's why I drafted a quarterback late, and I didn't want to deal with that whole situation again. But I was able to have Geno Smith. But this year I drafted Mahomes, so I don't want to have to stream my quarterback ever again. I was going. Yeah. You change your mind too much with it.
Yeah, and we talked about that on Thursday, that's kind of a shift, with fantasy football is it's kind of gone back to where you draft a quarterback earlier. There was a time there where people were taking it later and later, but you gotta have that quarterback with the focus on the passing game nowadays. I like Geno Smith as well. They lost Jalen Ramsey, the Rams did, to Miami, so they don't even have him now. So I think it's a really good matchup for him. I know I'm going to sound like a homer, but I do like Jordan Love because he's so cheap. Like he's only 5,000 on DraftKings, and that allows me to get some really good weapons around him, like for tournaments. And I think that if he can get some rushing yards and maybe a touchdown or two, it's going to make him a really good value for his price. So I think he'll be decent enough that his price is probably the lowest it's ever going to be this week. So I think that I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't. But I do think he's going to be a solid quarterback. And I think he'll probably end up around like the 7, K tier by the end of the year. But this week he's only 5,000 on DraftKings. So that price stands out to me a lot. We'll go with running back next. I'll start it off this time. My favorite pay up running back is Austin Eckler. He's 8,400 on DraftKings, 9,000 on Fanduel, $37 on Yahoo. He is going to be in that matchup that we've talked about, Steve, with the highest point total on the slate with Miami and LA. Mm-hmm. And he's always heavily involved in their passing attack as well as in the run game. So on DraftKings especially, I think it's a really good play. And he'll probably be a little bit lower owned because it seems like just about everybody is going to be playing Bijan Robinson. So
right. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Everybody wants to go down that, jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
You have great running backs. They're all going to be running the ball. So I don't see him getting more than like 15 touches at most, Bijan.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, and you're real high on, Algier,
Algier,
right?
yeah.
Algier, yeah.
It's really good, so
right.
I can't imagine that they're just going to be sitting on him.
Oh, for sure. And they created a new position. It's called the Joker position in Atlanta. So Cordell Patterson is, if you go look at the depth chart, he's in a new position. So he's going to be on the field. Yeah. Go look at the depth chart.
Really? So what's it going to be?
It's like a new and improved H-back. An H-back used to be almost like a tight end / wide receiver hybrid. And anyways, they're calling it the Joker position. But if you go and look on the depth chart, I mean, he's an explosive guy. So I would try to get him the ball as much as you could, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. They created their own thing for him.
Their own position. But for my hip guy, I would go with Derrick Henry. I think just based off of that game, I think he's just going to get his touches, and I think he'll get a lot of yards, and he'll probably get a touchdown. So I think it's your safest play and play up as far as guys that you'd pay up for. So I'd go with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I'm on the Falcons website right now in their depth chart, and they got the tight end, wide receiver, running back, J, and then quarterback. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Deb, what about you?
Yeah. So, you guys stole my 2. So, So since what I'll do is I'll head to value because I do have a, kind of mid-tier. I like a couple of the mid-tier guys. And those being J.K. Dobbins and Aaron Jones.
Okay.
I think, Dobbins, he's, when healthy, he's a great running back. It's going to be raining in Houston. So I think they're going to be spending a lot of time running the ball. You've got the weak rush defense of Houston. And I think his pricing he's at like 6,500 on DraftKings. I think that's a really reasonable price for, and his ownership is sort of mid-tier. So I like that a lot. And then Aaron Jones, I know you're high on Love, but I feel like with, Watson out and Dubes, is Dubes going to play?
Yeah, he he's listed as questionable, but they announced their the players that they elevate or whatever prior to the game starting, and they didn't elevate any wide receivers, so they do think that he's going to play.
Okay. But with Watson out, I think that gives Jones, who's a great, receiver at the running back position, gives him a lot more opportunities. And I think they're going to be more of a running, you tell me, but I think between, he and Dylan, they're going to have a really solid running game. So I like Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I do too. Steve, did you give yours? You did, right?
Yeah, I gave one. I have a better value play though, like a one that really just kind of get on your roster.
Okay.
I like Khalil Herbert and I like Raheem Mostert this week. Again, Raheem Mostert. I think he first of all, Jeff Wilson went on IR. Devin A-Chain's been dealing with an injury pretty much for the past 2 weeks, and he's their lead guy. And again, he's going to get a lot of touches. He's pretty explosive with the ball, and he's pretty cheap on DraftKings at 5,300.
That was Jeff Wilson, you said, or Raheem Mostert?
Raheem Mostert, 5,400.
Okay.
Yeah. Jeff Wilson's on IR.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good. That's almost 1,000 cheaper than Aaron Jones. So yeah, that's a good value for sure.
And the guy for me who's sort of a GPP type play, he has 2% ownership right now. That's DeAndre Swift. I think he's the forgotten guy. He's been traded. I mean, he's such an enigma to me because he pulls off these huge, like 50-yard runs and then, does nothing the rest of the game. But he's their RB1 on, I guess if you don't count Hurts as the RB1, he's the RB1 on Philly. And so I think he's flying under the radar, 6,300 and 2% ownership.
Yeah, he's definitely flying under the radar. That's a GPP play for sure. He could break the slate. He gets those 50-yard plays and 2 or 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's the kind of thing that can take down a GPP for sure. So I like that call. I like Deion Jackson. I think he'll probably see quite a bit of ownership, although it seems like Evan Hull is also getting a lot. But he's only 4,100 on DraftKings and $10 on Yahoo. He's 5,600 on Fanduel. I don't like him as much over there, but I think that he's going to see a pretty heavy workload, and so he's a value play that I like, mainly for his price more than anything. So we'll go to wide receiver next. Steve, who is your favorite pay up wide receiver? Or actually, yeah, Steve. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, my favorite pay up wide receiver is Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill is in fantasy. That would have been the first guy I drafted. If not, if I drafted Mahomes, but that's how I was going to play it out. Again, it's the matchup, and he can score on any given play. So my pay up guy would be Tyreek Hill.
Who's yours, Steve? I mean, who's yours, Crash?
That's what I was just about to ask you, because I think you're up next in the rotation.
Oh, I'm up next.
I'm trying to remember it in my head here, but I don't know if I'm right. But I think you're next.
So mine is mine's Jefferson. I just guy's unreal, and you're playing against like the 24th ranked defense. I think he's got a nice connection with Cousins. I just think he's going to be, top of the list. And he's not, some weeks you get to some of these guys and they're so much more expensive than everyone else. And this week, even though he's top of the heap for the wide receivers, he's hanging in there with Adams and Chase and Hill. And I just like him the best.
Yeah, I do too. Tampa Bay, they allowed the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers last year. And obviously Jefferson was the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy. And I think that he'll be just as good this year, if not even better. So he's probably going to be a little bit lower owned than Tyreek Hill too. That's another thing I like about him. Tyreek Hill seems to be the trendy pick, being in that Miami-LA matchup that everybody's targeting. So I like the Jefferson call. Steve, who are you looking at for the middle and the value tier?
I like that Minnesota Tampa Bay game. I like Chris Godwin. I think he's the most reliable receiver in the situation for Tampa Bay, and I think Minnesota's got a bottom of the barrel, I think, pass defense, and I think Chris Godwin's just going to get a lot of opportunities, probably a lot of targets. So I do Chris Godwin as
I actually had him too. So who do you like, Deb, in that middle and value tier?
Yeah, this is where I've been struggling because I like a lot of guys. I think there's several players that have some really, sort of positive metrics going with matchup, injuries, etc. Probably my top, if I had to say my top one or two, again, GPP versus cash being different. So for GPP, I love Dotson this week. Steve mentioned Howell, and against Arizona's defense, I think Dotson could. I mean, as much as I like what's his face at wide receiver 1, McLaughlin, I think Dotson is like the real deal, and he could challenge him for that WR1. He is, again, 1% owned. Crazy, right? You look at like a Jefferson who's 19% owned, and then Dotson's 1% owned. So I absolutely love him in that mid tier. And then for cash, I got to go with Keenan Allen. He's always like, again, you talk about the top guys, and he falls out of that top tier. He's less expensive than all of those other top guys. And we're talking about probably the team that's going to score the most points today, period. And you got the Justin Herbert connection. So he's my other guy, mid value.
I like that call. I like both those calls. I had Chris Godwin myself. I'm going to go with a little bit of a GPP flyer with Jaden Reed. I think that he is going to see a lot less ownership than Romeo Doubs. He did score 2 touchdowns with Jordan Love in the preseason, so they already have a little bit of chemistry there. So I'm going to take Jaden Reed. He's min price at $3K on DraftKings, $5,000 on Fanduel, and only $11 on Yahoo. So Jaden Reed's going to be my value play. All right, Deb, that takes us to tight end. So I know there's probably not a lot of great pay-up options. So who are you looking at for the tight end position?
Yeah, so for the tight end, do we want to just go with one here, or?
Yeah, let's just do one because, like I said, there's not a lot of great pay-up tight ends on this slate.
Okay. So again, I'll do my cash GPP split. For cash games, it's Tyler Higbee. The Rams have nobody to throw to. So by default, I mean, Van Jefferson is your wide receiver 1 is really painful. So, Higbee's, been around with Stafford the last couple of years. And, I think he could certainly see, he could certainly have 7-8 completions. So I like him for cash. And then for GPP, I like Hayden Hurst. Again, kind of going with that. I mean, he's a tried and true veteran. He's what's that? Yeah. And again, Carolina defense. He's playing over on Atlanta now, new team. I think he'll see some more touches, and 1% ownership.
Yeah, I agree. Steve, what about you for tight end?
Tight end, the guy that I would go with is Hawkinson. I just think Minnesota is going to be throwing the ball a lot. That's just what they do. I think Alexander Madison. I can talk about. I think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, and he's a very trustworthy guy for Kirk Cousins, and he's just going to get a lot of targets, and the volume will be there. So I like him as a guy that I would pay up for. As far as value play, I'd go with Gerald Everett. Trying to get as many guys in that game as possible with the Chargers Miami. He saw some games last year that he did pretty well. It's just tough at the tight end position. There's not much to go off of, but I like Gerald Everett.
Yeah, for sure. I actually had Higbee too, Deb. So
Nice.
That was one of my plays at tight end. And I also saw that Mark Andrews is listed as questionable. So if he misses this game or gets hurt early or something like that, I think that Isaiah Likely, who we've seen, put up some good numbers in the past for his price, he's like almost min price on every site. I think he's a nice little GPP play at tight end for value. So
that's a good call.
Who do you guys like? I guess the Commanders on defense. Seems like that's the trendy pick.
I'd go with either the Commanders or the Seahawks. I like the Seahawks.
I like Seattle too. Yeah.
Yep.
I picked them up in my season-long league. So
good call. Yeah. I'm right there with you guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is going to do it for the overview of the slate. We'll go ahead and kick this thing off for the year with our Super Bowl predictions. So, ladies first, Deb. Who do you like? Who do you like in the Super Bowl this year?
Man, I don't have the strongest of convictions. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Philadelphia Jets.
Ooh, there you go.
Okay. And who do you like to win?
Philadelphia.
Okay.
I think it's their year.
Over the Jets. Steve, who are you taking?
I'm going to go AFC's tough. It's way harder than the NFC.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And they're going to be playing the 49ers.
And you're taking the Jaguars to win it?
I'm taking the Jaguars to win it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I am going to take the matchup that should have happened last year, or could have happened last year, I should say. Had Brock Purdy not gotten hurt, I think it would have had a decent chance of happening. And I am going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to repeat over the 49ers.
Okay.
So,
I like it. I like how we're all different, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we're all different.
I think somebody's got I think it's DraftKings, place a $50 bet on who you think is going to win the Super Bowl, and you get like a $5 credit for every game they win.
Oh, wow. Now, I guess we should have taken the Jets and the 49ers according to that mentalist on Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks, exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. If he turns out to be right, that's going to be insane.
Crazy, right?
My gosh. I have no idea how he pulled that off.
I think I'm going to have to put a bet down on that just because.
That was scary.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. Any questions from anybody in the chat? I've been kind of monitoring it as we've been going. There are free contests on DraftKings. I think most sites probably have some free contests. I know Yahoo does, and I know Fanduel is doing, I think, their $5 millionaire contest. I think they're giving out free entries for that too. So pretty much everybody's giving out free stuff tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Anybody have any questions? Deb, if you can monitor that for a second, I'm going to take a look at the prize picks and parlay play boards and see what I like.
You got it. To give a shout out to my buddies Rodney Pollard and Power. How are you guys? Been a minute. That's cool. We're gonna win some nice money this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's the idea.
That is the idea.
Oh, that's why we're doing it?
That's why.
Really? Yeah, I mean, I that's what I love about football season. I end up making so much money because I always pick the right people, So
yeah.
You're happy.
It's my time.
You're ready to make some cash.
Dancing more,
Yeah.
There you go. Bring in a step.
Mm-hmm.
So I will have you guys already know this if you're members, but I will have some prop plays tomorrow. I don't want to force anything right now, so I'm not like completely just blown away by anything I'm seeing. So
I'll tell you my props.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if I can pull them up. Shockingly, I went with Dak Prescott for over half a yard.
Oh yeah, that one's a lock. You can take that one to the game.
I got a freebie.
Yeah.
So I liked. Here's what I liked. I liked Kenneth Walker more than 67.5 rushing yards. I really like Drake London more than 4 receptions. I think that's pretty low. And AJ Dillon with more than 10 rush attempts. I think, with Watson being out, they are going to stick it, stay the ground game a little bit more against Chicago. And, they're going to be passing a little more to Jones. So I think Dillon gets, a fair share of rushes in.
Yeah, and I was looking at the rushing attempts by Aaron Jones and that same, thinking of it the same way. And I don't know, they've got him at 13, and they have AJ Dillon at 10. I would have liked Aaron Jones at like 12 because I think he could, get over that number a little bit more. Like I just think it's going to be right there. I think it's going to be somewhere around 11 to 13. But AJ Dillon's going to get just almost as many carries. So I like that call at over 10. So. Yeah. Let's see.
Hey, if there was one guy that you could pick to win you $1 million, one guy to score a touchdown this week, rushing or receiving, who would that be? Guaranteed.
Yeah.
The guy that scores the touchdown.
I had I looked at this. I did the anytime touchdown.
Yep. For anybody.
Right.
Probably. Oh man, that's tough. Who would you take, Steve?
$1 million on the line.
$1 million on the line. Who is it going to be? I'm going to take. Yep. I think I just heard a train. That was the train.
I think that was
That's Derrick Henry.
That's Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Yep. Right there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it makes sense, right? That to pick Derrick Henry. But shoot, who did I think was going to be like a given this week? Hang on one sec. Let's see.
I'll take. I don't know about $1 million on the line, but I'm just going to go ahead and take Aaron Jones and say that he gets in the end zone, whether it's receiving or rushing. I think he gets in the end zone at least once.
He gets in the end zone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it's Eckler.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, running or passing, high scoring game again.
That guy loves the end zone.
Yeah. So I'm picking Eckler. I did do a parlay with Eckler anytime touchdown. Jamal Williams. He's another guy who loves the end zone. Jamal Williams. Right?
Yeah.
Jamal Williams, Derrick Henry, Calvin Ridley, because he's my guy this week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing is, I think I heard he's like questionable now. I also put George Kittle in there.
Oh, George Kittle's questionable?
Kittle's
questionable. Is he?
Yeah, Kittle's questionable.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my
I like Kittle with Purdy. As soon as Purdy came in, Kittle started killing.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Uh-huh.
Might have to look at him for tight end too, because he's probably not going to get hardly any ownership, especially with a questionable tag.
Yeah, what's he? Let's see, what's his ownership right now?
He's not even on the Prize Picks board right now. I just checked.
He's 3% owned. Yeah,
3%.
Yeah, I don't know what's his injury issue.
Is it a shoulder? What is his issue?
I think it's an ego issue.
No, it's his groin. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's his groin.
I think it's a mullet issue.
Those groin injuries, they can be a pain. Like
he's got an issue with his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, groin injuries, they can be a pain.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Steve, do you think that? Yeah, you said that you thought
that?
Sam Howell will do something. He said Rodney Pollard said, "Do you think Howell will do something?" Yeah.
Yeah. I think Howell looks good, and I think he's got a lot of weapons around him.
Yeah, he does.
I think that team is set up, better than what they've had in the past. They just went out and got kind of washed up quarterbacks, and he's young and he's got a chip, he's got the chip on his shoulder. He wasn't able to play. They put this other guy in front of him, and now he's getting the opportunity, and I think he's going to make the most of it. And what a better opportunity to do it than against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So a team that I think is going to tank this year.
Yeah.
And then
All
Caleb,
righty.
Yeah.
Well,
you go ahead, Josh.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. What do you say?
No. And then I was saying, then Caleb Williams, they're going to do the whole quarterback situation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And,
Caleb Williams.
Yeah. And then Caleb Williams said he's just going to go back to college because he doesn't want to be drafted by the Cardinals. So
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see here. So we've got Power and Rodney Pollard. We may have to hold off on the giveaway. I'd like to have more than 2 people competing for it. So yeah. Maybe next week we can get some more people. Maybe this isn't a good time, as good a time as another time. I don't know, but we'll have to play that by ear and see week by week what we do there. But I guess that's pretty much everything. So super excited as I'm sure everybody else is for week 1. Thank you guys for coming on the podcast with me. Look forward to seeing what's going to happen this opening week. It's always super exciting for everybody. See how their team's going to do in the coming year and everything. So hope everybody has a great day. Let's absolutely crush this weekend, week 1. And we'll be back again next week as we look to crush it in NFL, DFS, and prop bets. Thank you.